Alright fellas, as I record this, it is June 24th. It will likely not be by the time you see this. But I'd like to correct some points that I made in my last video on Sonic Origins. One was the same one by Yuji Naka, who is now saying he was misinterpreted by that tweet he made about Michael Jackson's involvement with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He attributed the mistake to, one, that fact he doesn't speak much English, and two, the translator he used for his Twitter, which are pretty honest mistakes all the same, but I also, it is consistent with what I said before, that he just wanted Sonic to take center stage. I normally wouldn't be addressing this all by bringing up strictly educational purposes. I'll have that out of the way. Let's talk about another collection of retro games we've been wanting to play that I just got. The Capcom Fighting Collection. I have the PS4 in my hand, and by the time you see this, I'll likely have redeemed the bonuses as well, so let's get started. Released as part of the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter being celebrated, this collection features 10 fighting games playable in HD, as well as a full online support, several of which are being released outside Japan for the first time officially. I'm going to be talking about all of them, and for sake of arguments, to keep things purely objective, I'm going to be writing down the lists as I get my thoughts on them, so let's begin. Okay. Leading off with Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors. I have made no secret of the fact that I am a big Darkstalkers fan, and I've been wanting Capcom to re-release these games again in HD for a while now, and especially given how they did more than that. They released several others in this collection for the first time in Japan. I believe that honor goes to several of the titles which I'm about to get into as I speak. Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, which adds more characters to the fray, more arenas, and more over-the-top combos, and I was fortunate enough to never have seen that terrible cartoon from back in the day. I hope that whether or not, and apparently the anime adaptation is marginally better, but not by much, I really hope that someone like a Dushanko, maybe Studio Trigger, could do a more faithful adaptation, complete with more fluid animation and over-the-top action, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Lightning round of games that were previously Japan exclusive. Vampire Hunter Darkstalkers Revenge 2, which is as much a sequel as an enhanced version of Night Warriors Darkstalkers Revenge, which is something that I will get into in this video. Capcom has a long history of doing. Vampire Savior and Vampire Savior 2, who, if we're not going to have like a full-on Darkstalkers again, then I'm at least glad to have all these games in this collection. I'll definitely consider myself playing them quite a bit as I'm recording this and uploading this in the midst of a heat dome, trying to stay cool the best I can, so yeah, let's keep going. Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition. Interesting choice. They went with like the 15th anniversary edition of the game, which is now celebrating its 20th anniversary. A diagram that I dare you, all joking aside, not just about Capcom's release pattern, basically amounting to Capcom's sequel stagnation, and it's definitely one of the more enjoyable ones. It's kind of interesting how, even though the Genesis Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, as well as the Super Nintendo Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, were not that different compared to the arcade version, though part of the agreements each console manufacturer had at the time made people think they were. How high you were. Super Gem Fighter, which is a chibi-style take on Capcom Fighting, game which introduces power-enhancing gems and over-the-top moves to the fray. So, of course, it's definitely got a wide variety of characters, not just Street Fighter, but also the aforementioned Darkstalkers, which definitely pairs well with other games I'm going to be addressing in very briefly. And naturally, my favorite character, Sakura, fits pretty well with these games, so yeah. Cyberbots Full Metal Madness, which is a mech-based fighting game, where you have a wide range of pilots and vehicles to choose, where you can actually damage your opponents, not just the mech itself, but often their life, but also their boosters, their weapons, their armor. I mean, it's a surprisingly complex next game, which I'll be willing to play much more of to see what I can do with it exactly. Yep. Last and definitely not least, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. No, as mentioned before, there is no Super Puzzle Fighter 1. It was a joke on Capcom's aforementioned and release patterns, hence the trope Capcom sequel stagnation. All joking aside, it's a pretty entertaining puzzle game where you actually do combat and defeat your opponents by stacking up combos not merely with your fists or your feet, but also with gem puzzles. And top of Street Fighter characters, several of them having Darkstalkers also in the game as well, including Morrigan and Felicia. I mean, believe me, depending on who you're playing as, Felicia is actually tougher than the final bosses in some cases. You would not believe how many times I ran through this just trying to get ready to record this video. So anyway, I will definitely be back again with more videos this month. In fact, I already have seen some of them by the time you see this, and I will definitely see so that I'm not just playing this game watching One Piece, which is also true. So that'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.